Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how I make my pink gingham blanket. And I'm sure you have the pattern that is on yarnspirations.com. And today what I've made this blanket with is Caron Simply Soft. And I used white, I used their strawberry color, and I used soft pink with a size I hook. So that is a size I 9 5.5 millimeter hook. And I'm just going to have you work a practice swatch so that you can learn the technique behind making these gingham blankets. And trust me, it's a lot easier than you think. It looks so complicated, but it's really not. So let's get started. All right, let's start with a practice swatch of 42 chains. And each section, or little square, is 8 stitches wide. So we're going to basically be doing 5 blocks of color. So 40, 8 times 5 is 40, plus 2 for the turning chain. Okay, so I went ahead and you can do that in the strawberry color. And let's go ahead and get started. So right away, you're going to work what's called the herringbone half stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook. So don't count this one that's around the hook. Start with the next one as 1, 2, 3. We're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up that loop, but continue pulling through the next loop on the hook. Then yarn over and pull through both loops. Okay, so it's a little variation on the double crochet stitch. So I yarned over, I'm inserting my hook into the next space, yarning over, pulling up that loop, and then continuing to pull through the first little loop right there. Then I'll yarn over and pull through 2. Now we're going to work the first 8 stitches in this manner, and then we will have our first block of color. And then I'll show you how I introduce the next block, and that will be the soft pink. Or yeah, soft pink. I'm hoping I didn't say light pink earlier. It is the soft pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's stitch number 6. Here's number 7. And now on this 8th one, let's just work it until we go just through that first loop, and then let's stop right here. We're going to introduce our soft pink color, and all you'll do is simply lay it over the hook and pull through, just like a normal color change, just like that. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to be carrying this strawberry along with us so that after 8 stitches, we can easily pull it up and use it again. Okay, so let's work the next 8 stitches with the soft pink. So I'm just going into that next chain space. I'm underneath the top loop, and I'm underneath this carried yarn, or the strawberry. You can see that. And I'm still working the herringbone half stitch. I'll just do this for the next 8. Oops. Sometimes, just try to keep your chain as straight as possible. Keep that yarn you're carrying along next to the chain. It does take some getting used to if you've never done this technique before. So that's why I always tell everybody, just start with a practice swatch. You can get all of these kinks worked out as you're practicing. You don't want to do a big long chain and then, as if it's your real blanket, because you're going to want to really learn, get the hang of this. There's some other tricky things I need to show you about with the yarn too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Here's 7. Here's the 8th one. Okay. I'm going to just do it that same way. I'm going to just work through that first loop. And now, before I pull through with the strawberry, I'm going to keep this the soft pink to the front of my work. So I'm going to wrap that towards the front first before I pull through with the strawberry. This will totally help you from keeping the yarns from twisting on themselves. It's another key thing about working this gingham. Keep one color to the front and one to the back. And so I've chosen to just keep this soft pink to the front. Okay, let's continue working our next 8 stitches with strawberry. It's good. Keep your tension relatively loose. Try to work with this. I just know that it's tricky at first because I've heard from so many of my followers that it is until you can get the hang of it. But most people do say, oh, they're so glad they did a practice swatch. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I just wanted to show you how I am going to pull up that pink. Okay, make sure I didn't do 9, 4, 8. Okay, now simply I get to just drop the strawberry to the back. No need to go over because I'm keeping the strawberry to the back. So now I'm just grabbing the pink, and here we go. And I am going to give the pink just a bit of a tug. Make sure it was pulled tight through the row, just a bit, and then I'll pull through with it and get working on my next 8. Okay, so I'm going to keep working on down my row, and I'll pop back on when you turn the row, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, good luck. Keep working the rest of your row. Okay, how have you been doing? Here I am. I'm at the end of my row. I've got 5 sections of color, starting with the strawberry, and I'm just going to work that last stitch just normally. Pull through. So the only thing that's different is I am going to chain 2, and these 2 turning chains just are going to give me height up to the next row. They don't count as a stitch for me. This was the best way I could do to keep the gingham, just make sure I can stay on those 8 stitches. And what I'm going to do with this pink now is just simply push it towards the back and go ahead and work on down the row, starting in that first stitch of 8. So it's kind of like those little turning chains are going to hang off the side for just, for a little bit. But when you go back and do the border, it won't show. All right. Again, this is all you do. And we're going to do this for 6 rows. And then we will do another color change. We'll start bringing in the white. Now there is one thing that kind of helps you to remember with the color changes at the first is that we will always be carrying this light pink, the soft pink, throughout the whole blanket. This soft blanket it's if you can think of it that way, it's always alternating with the strawberry color, and it's also alternating with the white. That kind of helps you with the color changes. Okay, so I hope you've got the hang of this, and I'm going to work for a total of 6 rows, and then I'll pop back on here and I will show you how to add in the white. And then you really are on your way to creating a gingham blanket. That's really all there is to it. Just carrying this yarn. Okay. All right, I've got my 6 rows here. And so now we need to introduce the white. So however, what I was saying before is, the pink always alternates with the dark or the white. So what we'll need to do on this last block is on the very last stitch is we will pull through with the light pink. Okay, and we can clip off this dark. We won't be using it until we introduce it in 6 more rows. And so give yourself a fairly long tail that you'll be weaving that in at the end. But we're going to just keep with the pink and work those next 8 stitches. And we'll have a little bit of a break from carrying yarn for just these first 8. And we're really we're just going to introduce the white just like we did before, but I just wanted to make sure you understand that it's okay to be introduced right when we need it. And then, of course, make the decision again. Do you want the soft pink to be the yarn that stays to the front or to the back? So it's totally up to you. Just pick one or the other and keep it consistent for these next 8 rows, just so that you can keep your yarn from twisting. So I think I'll go forward with my soft pink, getting that habit. Here's my white. I'm just laying it right over and pulling it through. And now I will, give that pink just a little bit of a tug, and I will start carrying it along the row, and I'll start working with my white. And of course, I leave a little bit of a long tail of the white so I can weave that end later too. All right, the most common question I get is, help, I can see the yarn being carried through. Yes, it's normal, especially now that you're working with the white. You're going to see little bits of this soft pink carried through, and that's totally normal. Now, if it's poking out, just remember to give it a little bit of a tug before you change color, and that will help. It shouldn't poke out, but it should be, laying relatively flat along that row. That's really the most common question that I get. So what I mean by saying is, I think I showed you that before. Just give it a little bit of a tug, this one that was being carried along, before we pull it through, and then start working on down the row. So I really enjoy this blanket actually for beginner, well, not absolute beginners, but advanced beginners, because it really helps you keep track of your counting. You know that you have 8 of each color to do, and then it helps you keep the sides of your blanket straight if you can keep that counting going. So don't be afraid if you have, just advanced beginner skills. Don't be afraid to make this blanket. So anyway, I have another one almost finished, and so I will jump back on and I'll show you how I worked the border on that one. Well, before we get to that border, we are going to have a few ends to weave in. So I thought I would show you what I like to use, which is a tapestry needle, which is just a blunt tipped needle with a large eye, so I can thread the yarn easily through it. And I just weave in and out of these stitches a couple of times just to hide the extra yarn and get it secure. And then, I'll go any which way, and the yarn does a pretty good job of just hiding on itself. I've already worked it a couple times. And then just go ahead and give it a clip fairly close to your fabric. So get all of those ends woven in, and then we will start the border. So for the border, I decided to just go ahead and work down the side where it would be as if we had turned the blanket. So this is the last row of work that I did, and it would be as if we turned and just wanted to, continue the blanket forward. So I'm picking that corner. I'm simply laying the white over my hook and pulling up a loop. I am going to chain 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work my first 2 herringbone stitches right into that corner space. Now I'm just going to work down the side, working 1 herringbone stitch into the top of, the stitch below, and I'll do that all the way across till I get to the corner, and then I'll work 3 into that corner. So I'm going to keep working. I just want to make sure you can see that that's what I'm doing, and then I'll get back on here and I'll show you what I kind of was thinking how we'll work the sides. Okay, so just keep working on down your blanket. Well, here we are to the first corner that I've got to, and so pretty much in that very last stitch is what I call the corner space, and I'm going to continue working for a total of 3 into that corner. And now here we are at the tricky side of the blanket, and you are just going to do your very best to get approximately 8 half double crochets down the side of this blanket on you know, per color. In some ways I think, oh well, that's it is helpful that at least it's in colors. So I kind of count that first one, the third of those corner ones, as 1 when I am in the corner. And then I'll work underneath those turning chains. Maybe that will be 2. Just going to try and do it as even as possible. Find that little hole. Number 3. Here's number 4. Work underneath those turning chains again. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. I'm going to come down here, kind of the top will be my number 8. And then I always kind of pause and look and think, was it too many? Is it pulling? Could I have done a better job? I just take my time on the sides. There is no good way. I wish there was an easy way to do this, but it's about right. Once you get the other 2 rounds, it really blends in and you'll be okay. I wish it could look as even as this, but it doesn't. But it does a pretty good job. Approximately 8. Sometimes if you find like you need 9, do 9. If you need 7, do 7. Just, that's why we put the word approximate in the pattern. That's why I did. Anyway, all right. That is basically when you're going to work down this side in that manner, work across the bottom, back up, and then you will just join with a slip stitch. And I mean, you'll work one more. Well, here, let me show you. When you get back to over here, you'll work 1 more half double crochet or herringbone into that stitch to make it the 3. Then you'll slip stitch and just chain 2 and work the same way, except you'll be going around the opposite way. I think that should pretty much get you on your way. So anyway, that is probably enough from me. Thank you so much, everybody, for your love and support. Thank you for anybody that comes to daisyfarmcrafts.com. We love sharing your blankets. So if you want to use hashtag daisyfarmcrafts on Instagram, on your Instagram post, or if you post a picture to our Facebook wall, we love sharing these gingham blankets. People come up with the best color choices, and it's good to find out, you know, what colors work together. So anyway, I hope you have lots of success with this pattern. Thank you so much to my friends at Yarnspirations for getting this pattern on their website. All right, you have a good day. Talk to you later.